Well, a very good evening to you and you're welcome to News Night. You're on Metro TV. We're live from the Akia Bohima studio. In the next 60 minutes is local and international stories, business and finance updates, and of course, sports and entertainment. Let's take a look at headlines of the stories coming up. Our Mobile Money Agents Association makes U-turn on e-levy acts as they ask government to whip up public interest on education on the new tax despite the initial opposition. The National Democratic Congress NDC begins the 2024 with registration and verification of members of NDC reorganization, or for the party's reorganization. We'll bring you details of that as well. And Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council endorses 20% increment in the transport fare against the initial objection. The nation says price hikes sparked by Russia invasion of Ukraine to worsen food crisis in Africa. We'll bring you some details as well. And on the international front, 60 Zimbabweans key buy elephants so far in 2022. You're welcome back. Now, let's do some stories now on News Tonight. And in our first story, 2 persons have been shot and killed in Bukom today by unknown assailants, bringing the number of persons killed to 6 in less than a week as confrontations by the feuding parties continue. So tensions brewed on Friday afternoon when a group of people from one divide of the conflict reportedly went and performed rituals at the opposition's jurisdiction. On Saturday, an old man was shot at his mango farm around Palimi, a suburb of Bukom, but later died on Monday evening. So on Monday around 7:45 p.m., a household was also attacked at the Singanting, where 3 people, including a middle-aged woman, lost their lives. Shooting continued at around 1 a.m. on Tuesday morning, and the shooting later intensified during the day, where 2 people lost their lives and others sustained gunshot wounds. The deceased victims have been buried according to the Islamic customs, while the injured have been admitted at Bukom Presby Hospital. Now, Ibrahim Abode is our correspondent in Bukom to bring us up to speed with what is going on. Ibrahim, thank you for joining us. You're welcome. Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
So, can you confirm to us how many people, if we have indeed 6 people who have been shot dead?
Yes, exactly. But there's a possibility that the number can be more than that because this is a society that is mainly Muslims, and then when the unfortunate happens, they sometimes don't go through some of the procedures, and then they will go into burial. So basically, what transpired only today started last night when 3 persons were shot when they were at home having dinner. So afterwards, late night, around 1 a.m., the shooting continued until this morning that around 9 it intensified. So we had the reports that 2 people were shot dead during that shooting today, and then later others were also injured. So the injured are at the Presbyterian Hospital in Bukom here, whilst the disease or the dead ones have been buried already according to the Islamic custom. So that is how it is in Bukom now. It's really sad over here.
I wonder if the situation is indeed sad. Let's understand something. When 2 factions are, at war or in a dispute, one faction decides that it goes into the territory of the other, and whoever he or she meets, they shoot at the person. Is that how it is?
That is how it looks like now, because it looks like over here they have built wall around themselves that one side cannot go to the other side. Even if there's a relevant institution at the other side, they don't go. So immediately you lose guard and you move to the next territory, you are targeted as an enemy. So sometimes the ethnic division sometimes looks like it's buried as compared to the residence or where you reside. So it looks very, very critical. Previously, it wasn't really much into that, but when the people get so angry, when they get so furious, these are some of the things we see. Immediately, they target that this area belongs to this faction. When they get there, they might not have patience with anyone around that area.
So
So
they're very
exactly.
they are very territorial with their
Very, very
war.
territorial. Yes. So, like I indicated, or like the report indicated earlier, on Friday, one of the factions, or it was alleged that one of the factions traveled to the territory of another site with a tricycle. So they went according to the residents of that area. They went and then performed some rituals quickly and then move out. So the residents of that community were not really happy with what happened. So they had some confrontation with the security over there, and it was later agreed that some rituals will be performed to discard that particular performance. So that was what happened. But the following day was a market day for Boko. Over here, the market days is always three days. So on Saturday, it was a market day. Today is a market day. So on Saturday, an old man was shot. So the old man didn't die instantly. He was transported or he was taken to the Boko Presbyterian Hospital and was later transferred to the Tamale Teaching Hospital. He passed on yesterday around 5 p.m. And then, unfortunately, at 7:47, the attack on the family at Saint Nating also took place. So, and these are opposite directions. Saint Nating and then that of Patelemi, where the old man is coming from, are just closer to one another with different ethnic groups or the opposite ethnic groups. So that is how it looks like here. So after what happened last night, another serious gunshot or gun firing took place last night within that area and many other locations within the Boko. And this is what happened, and other two people also lost their life.
Ibrahim Abode, can you tell us which two factions are involved in this exchange of gunfire?
It is known, it is between Kusasis and Mampusis. So these are the ethnic groups that are.
So it's the same historic Kusasis and Mamprusis?
Basically, that is how it is. Yes, exactly.
We thought that there was curfew. Are you not observing the curfew?
Yes, there is curfew. We are really observing the curfew, and the curfew is 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. So, but then there are other issues. Sometimes when you go into bed, you know, as a criminal can just, maneuver his way out of his area to another area because looking at the buildings, the securities cannot, be located at all places. We don't want to just put the blame that they are not really working, but they can be at all points because the community is very large. So sometimes people can maneuver to a different territory. But looking at what happened last night, it wasn't really up to the curfew hours because the incident happened per my clock around 7:47 p.m. And the curfew is 8 p.m. But it was raining, so it looks like those assailants passed through the rain to go and then commit the crime. So that was how it happened.
Ibrahim Abode, thank you for the updates you've given us this evening. Continue to follow up and we'll get back to you later on. So that's some updates from the Boko killings, and the information Metro TV has gathered is about 6 people have lost their lives, and we're yet to confirm with the security agencies. But let's move on to other stories as we bring you details of what is going on within the transport industry. Leadership of the Ghana Private Road Transport Unions have described the recent 20% increment in transport fares as fair on the pockets of Ghanaians. The union said the threshold would have been 30% and they spoke on the sidelines of a crunch meeting with the Trades Union Congress.
I have seen agitations from most Ghanaians after transport operators hinted of a 20% increment in transport fares.
It's not easy for us. They should look at it for us, because if this, it will be difficult for the people who is doing business.
Because almost 2 lorry fare cry no 2 months here. And as they say, as 20%. Let's just say, a man, break.
Tongues have since been left wagging on what outfits like the Transport and Energy Ministries are doing to salvage the situation. In a crunch meeting on May 10, 2022, leadership of the GPRTU and the Concerned Drivers Association described the component of the agreed 20% increment.
I think that the pressure mounted on us from our members that they cannot buy fuel at that high price and still operate under the low old lorry fares. And as a result, GPRTU as a body held a meeting and issued out letters to our members.
We have included spare parts, we have included lubricants, we have included documentations as times, DVLA papers, etc., etc.
So that is to say that if you had added all those things, we would have seen a much more bigger figure than 20.
Than the 20%. That was why we said, and we keep saying, we came up with 20% religiously for everybody to say we have human feeling attached to the 20%.
You are saying even the 20% is to give us comfort.
Yes, that is what we are saying.
I say wakache ka wono so nyesika driver ni so comedy no de be kwaduma na de azent aba na ka 30% na ka yesi yam presu yan papa no GP atifa na ka na yati asese 20 ni mfanto
na mo de anka mo
30% say no wo de buy no ka na ye nyina support if 20% e be dey hwe lord friend na wo ka ho asem no hwe mi baby ti say mi krum wo mo to lord friend na ka 50% wo man fa antum e da ho enti na 20% wo de be ka ho.
On his part, National President of the Ghana National Cargo Transport Association, who also doubles as the Vice Chair of the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, Alhaji Mohammed Tanko, decried how efforts to meet with government on the situation have proven futile.
He said the minister is not there. I said, okay, if tomorrow you see the minister, call me. Let me come and meet the minister. I said, I want to see the minister. Explain everything to him. If he too, he can call us and talk to us. Tell him even something which we can take it to our members. We didn't see him. So are we continuing buying diesel, taking passengers without gaining anything?
Don't ask questions.
We can't do that. So if the minister have no time to meet us, to discuss with us, then we can sit down and discuss our own.
Nanayao Akwada Nyame is the chairman for the Ashanti Regional Concerned Drivers Association.
What if obi akoto jene ana wakofa tomatoes efi mi ami krom bank na wode ba na kwan yinye e kwan na enye forest ya unnamu kwan ko 40 tawi na se wode ba beduru ha obeka den se me twen minister ana me twen honorable ana me twen president se omra no man price na ka ense identity na drop for the ye de ye tufu mu a mo pese ye betum ye betu lolly film na ban ne pese ye twen 1 month na for omu di omu ye national for no mu ye se ye twa sa ne manim bi.
Now, a possible reduction of fares or a review of the 20% threshold looks gloomy as the various transport operators from all indications are bent on subsequently increasing transport fares should fuel prices rise. Shadrach Odame Ejari, Metro News, Accra.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council has made a U-turn after the release suggesting their objection to the transport fare increment by private transport operators. Speaking on Metro News, Vice Chairman of the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, Haji Mohammed Tanko, described the press release signed by their General Secretary, Emmanuel Ohene Yeboah, as false.
He didn't consult me and I didn't hear anything from him.
if we came to GPRTU here, we have coalition. If anything we want to do, we sit down, then we think to do it together. But GRTCC, the secretary, he didn't call me, he didn't say anything to me. So I don't know anything what they are doing. So what the GPRTU and the rest of the coalition as a concern, they told me, or what we discuss, we all, I agree for that more than what the GRTCC, the secretary are saying. If you didn't call me, you didn't call your members, you didn't say anything to them. You come yourself with your head, your experience, you write what you want to throw it in the media. So how can we agree for that? Even he didn't respect us. He didn't give respect to.
Enipa o yi no etna transport anu so o meboa mumusa ne say sa o hene awi no mumusa se o no twika ne bi o waka ni station wo hefa moto kura wodi bi adwuma ene wahu enne ono woto yi otuka otu no free petrol woto on top petrol busan se woto no wonya driver ni o no oton ade eti se ye kan driver for asema ade ntina ba ni ntimi ni obi o ye driver ni nko station to say o ye adwuma ne bi me ne o ka say GPRTU ye company for ho a o mo ba ye adwuma ne bi eti se nipa na appointing na obo si ye ble eti o ko betima ka bi ama yen ye ne fa no ye se ye ntimi ne nya adwuma bi ye yi na di because wo moa yen o be bo aba no wa moa driver for enti ya pam no ye hia no e ye futo no otugu enkofo ani one day opa won station no ka bi wo hwe o mbe si se do mo si.
Well, and more pressure for the consumer, the Mobile Money Agents Association wants government to whip up public education on the e-levy. Now, despite initial opposition to the new tax, the agents also pledged their support for government in mobilizing revenue through the e-levy while demanding support for their businesses. The group met the President Akufo-Addo at the Jubilee House in Accra.
According to President of the Mobile Money Agents Association, Evans Otumfuo, there are over 300,000 mobile money agents operating across the country. Despite their contributions to the Ghanaian economy, the group says they face numerous security threats coupled with a high cost of operations, among others. At a meeting with President Akufo-Addo on Tuesday, President of the Momo Agents believes measures such as the SIM card re-registration exercise will help deal with fraudulent activities within the space. On the controversial electronic transfer levy, the group promised to help government achieve its aim of generating more revenue, but called on the experts to address the challenges faced during the electronic transactions.
The levy has now been passed into law and all citizens must obey. So we are here as allies, not opposing forces. We also commend the government for taking bold steps to reduce the electronic transactions levy from the initial 1.75 to 1.5 and the tall list of exemptions provided by the levy. We had wished it to reduce further for fear of its attendant impact on our businesses. Your Excellency, we appeal to you and the Minister of Finance to expedite actions to look at the challenges that the levy has brought to us as agents in line of doing our business, such as deductions that are made at the agent's account in an attempt to push funds from their agent's account to their bank account for purposes of withdrawals and other agents-related activities.
They also urge government to intensify public education on the e-levy.
Your Excellency, let it be on record that our organization believes in the payment of taxes as a major tool to drive the needed development and progress, and would not do anything that frustrates the success of the e-levy. We have identified, Your Excellency, the feedback and signal picked after the implementation of the e-levy, which really has revealed that communication on the e-levy has been extremely low. Your Excellency, it is in the best interest of the association to help drive education and the needed sensitization.
President Akufo-Addo commended the agents for the partnership.
I'm also very, very encouraged and grateful also for the offer of partnership to make sure this controversial tax that I have been forced to bring into being is successfully administered. I think it's appropriate that
people, direct stakeholders like you, voice out your concerns as you did, and that these concerns are taken into account by government, so that when the law is finally shaped like it has been, it's one that is meaningful for the state and is equally meaningful for the private sector operatives who are in the area. So I welcome very much this offer of partnership, the idea of an alliance for us to work together to see how best this new tax can be implemented and developed.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and the Minister for Communications and Digitalization, Ursula Owusu-Ekuful, assured the agents that the anomalies will be tackled as government moves to correct the defects in the electronic transfer system.
Now, the NDC has started party reorganization with registration of members. The party, at its national executive meeting in Accra, also decided to adopt Central Kofi Akpafo-Lolobi and Likpe as a constituency. Now, let's take a look at some decisions taken by the party on these changes. And on your screen, it says that that regulations and modalities for branch elections should be approved by NEC, and the elections conducted before that of the constituencies and the region. That as part of the regulations for the branch elections, nominations shall open upon an official publication or announcement by the General Secretary 7 clear days before the start of the election. That nomination forms shall be made available at all branches at the fee of 10 Ghana cedis only for all aspirants. This is for NDC branch reorganization. Okay, so that's to be eligible to contest for a position in a branch election, a person must be a registered and active member of the party and in good standing for at least 4 years. That all registered members of the party in good standing shall participate in the voting process. That for the avoidance of doubts, NEC delegates the Functional Executive Committee to act on its behalf in the exercise of the approved guidelines for the conduct of the branch elections. That the SAL area, Central Kofi, Akpafo-Lolobi, and Likpe, is recognized and adopted as a constituency by the NDC. That the NDC Professionals Forum application for affiliation is approved for submission to Congress in accordance with Article 9 of the NDC Constitution. Now, the NDC also came up with a roadmap for the 2024 elections, beginning with the registration of members. Let's take a look at the dates for the internal elections. Now, it says that the NDC election roster, activities and the period, membership, verification and update of registered members as at 31st December 2018, the period up to 15th of May 2022. Limited registration exercise for new members, 21st May, 7th June 2022. That's 21st May to 7th June 2022. Branch elections, 15th June to July 2022. Collation of branch election results, 1st to 7th August 2022. Ward elections, August 2022. Constituency elections, September 2022. Regional regional conference, October 2022. And then we have the National Congress, and that is November 2022. Now from the NDC, let's move to the MPP, and about 500 delegates of the MPP in the Akumfi constituency have accused the chairman, Robert Kuting, of disqualifying a potential candidate. Now the supporters have asked National Executive to step in and resolve the matter.
The supporters are accusing the regional chairman of attempt at compromising the polls According to them, the regional chairman did not help the party, resulting in the loss of the Kumfi seat to the NDC.
The last election didn't favor the party shape and personal interest among our leaders. The chairman and his candidate for the MP till we lost the seat. Fortunately, Nana Atuedu stepped in with hard work and brought the team back to shape.
They therefore called on the national executives to quickly step in to resolve the matter and bring unity to the party.
Since I have about 2024,
I don't understand why they have rejected our chairman. No matter what they do or say, Ato is our candidate. I urge the party leaders to step in and resolve these misunderstandings, or else a Kumfi won't have peace.
About 500 delegates representing 95 polling station executives in a Kumfi constituency took part in the protest.
Well, you're still watching News Tonight on Metro TV. Let's take a breather. We'll be back. Welcome back to News Tonight. Let's do some more stories. And the National Concerned Spare Parts Dealers in Abosokai say they are opposed to the move by Greater Accra Coordinating Council to move them to Afenya. The spare parts dealers at the press conference in Accra said the move will impact negatively on their businesses and will go on a demonstration if the decision is not reversed.
The Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council, in a program to make Accra work, has suggested relocating the traders to Afenya. The council cited congestion at Abosokai and also the move to clean up Accra as reasons for relocating the traders. The spare parts dealers at a press conference in Accra said the move to relocate them will not help.
State that the National Concerned Spare Parts Dealers Association vehemently opposed to the supposed relocation of the association dealers to Afenya. We consider the decision as very unfortunate and unnecessary because it will not help we the spare parts dealers at Abosokai relocating to a different place. It's not what we need to make our business thrive. The Abosokai spare parts is the heart of traveling trading community in Ghana, and it contributes massively to the economy of Ghana. There is the need to improve facilities in the community. The provision of amenities like adequate parking and waste disposal will go a long way into improving the conditions in Abosokai spare parts. This is how the government can show its support for our businesses.
The group alleged executives who agreed with government on the relocation did not have the locus to negotiate on their behalf.
Post executives that are in talks with the government about the said relocation are interim executives whose tenure of office have been long expired. They have no authority to have talks with the government on behalf of the traders of Abosokai, and their views do not represent the accurate views of the traders of Abosokai. We consider the intention by the government through the Greater Accra Coordinating Council to relocate us, which is the Abosokai spare parts, to Afenya, is an affront to our trading activities. That is an statement, that's an attempt by the so-called executives to make the current government unpopular in Abosokai, as the statement being made by the minister in consultation with the said executives that affected our business drastically.
They appealed to the Greater Accra Coordinating Council to reverse the decision.
Now, minority MPs on Parliament's Health Committee have accused government of collecting and keeping money meant for service providers for the National Health Insurance Scheme. Addressing the media in Accra, ranking member Minta Akando said this has brought challenges to the scheme.
The ranking member for the committee, Kobana Minta Kando, was of the view that government consistently have defaulted in paying monies allocated to the scheme, which according to him has impacted smooth operations.
A study of the National Health Insurance Fund allocation formula for 2022 shows that of the 2.056 billion collected from Ghanaians as National Health Insurance Levy in 2021, only 127.4 million Ghana cedis, or 6% of the total collected, was released by this government to address the obligations of the year. It is that not surprising that the providers of services under the scheme, that is the hospitals, pharmacies, laboratories, etc., are often outraged, claiming arrears in reimbursement.
He further indicated that the action of the government is undermining the crucial objective of the National Health Insurance Scheme.
The situation is untenable, so if not addressed, could accelerate and gradually collapse the fund. As of the end of March 2022, service providers were owed over 2.5 billion due to non-payment of claims filed as far back as July 2021. If you consider the fact that we are experiencing a hyperinflationary period with much inflation year on year being reported to have inched closer to 20%, one wonders how service providers who are owed as far back last year are supposed to manage to keep their businesses afloat.
He called on the President and the Finance Minister to, as a matter of urgency, address the challenges the scheme is facing.
We cannot allow the future of the scheme to be hijacked by the NADO and his law-breaking finance minister. The National Health Insurance Scheme is collapsing not because of inadequate funds or inadequate legislation, but purely as a result of poor public financial management of the fund. We would like to remind our Bible-quoting finance minister to read what Jesus said in Mark 12:17. Give back to Caesar what's Caesar's, and to God what's God's, and do accordingly. Give funds collected in the name of the National Health Insurance Scheme to the National Health Insurance Scheme, period.
According to him, under President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, launching of the NHIL and 2.5% of SNAID contributions into the National Health Insurance Fund has been left to the dictates of the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta in the contravention of Section 52(1) of the National Health Insurance Act 852.
Now, the review application by embattled Asin North MP James Jachikwason has been adjourned without an assigned reason by the Supreme Court. Now, the MP, among other things, is seeking a review of the restraining orders that barred him from performing his parliamentary duties after the Apex Court ruled on the 5-2 majority decision on April 13. Though unhappy with the ruling of the court, James Kwason, through his lawyers, have reviewed the application, which was expected to be heard today. But the registrar of the Apex Court adjourned the hearing to May 17, 2022. You're still watching News Tonight on Metro TV. We'll take another breather. We'll be back. You're welcome back to News Tonight. It's time for us to take some business updates. Businessman Winston Taki is with me. You're welcome, Winston.
Thank you, Annie. It's time to bring you the latest update from the world of business right after this. And now to a first business story. United Nations agencies are warning that price hikes sparked by Russia's invasion and also Ukraine will worsen food crisis in Africa, where tens of millions of people have already been plunged into extreme poverty by the COVID-19 pandemic, armed conflict, climate shocks, and economic turmoil. There is more in the following report.
Fuel prices are rising and the currency rapidly devaluing the cedi, with the cost of transport going high since the beginning of 2022. This has had an impact on fertilizer prices, which local farmers say has hit small-scale farmers the hardest. Boniface Musa, who grows maize and soybeans just outside the capital city of Ghana, Accra, said he has started making his own fertilizer.
We are doing our own fertilizer now.
We are mixing 7 bags of cow dung or the cattle manure or the chicken waste with 20 mils of zinc to make compounds. But the difficult part of this is just compound. We need to do AN. It's very difficult to do AN, but we are producing AN at a very low
The Assistant Director General of the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, Abel Gabriel, said nearly half of the continent's 54 countries rely on Russia and Ukraine for wheat import.
This war, the Ukraine war, is overlapping. The impact is overlapping with a crisis that has already been unfolding in several countries.
Elizabeth Tubo is a resident in Kaswa and laments about the cost of living.
We used to have 3 meals a day. We used to buy even meat. You could get meat and eat meat almost 5 days a week. But these days you can even go for 7 days without getting any meat, without getting 3 meals a day. So it's really tough for people, and it's really tough for a basic family, for a family that is living from basic salaries.
Per the 2022 Ghana Comprehensive Food Security and Vulnerability Report, food insecurity in Ghana stands at 11.7%, implying a food insecure population of 3.6 million people.
Now, away from that, interest rates, which are lower than the current inflation rate, have dampened investor appetite for buying government bills. As the Treasury's auctions April missed their target by 2.24 billion Ghana cedis. There is more in the following update from the world of business.
Total target size of 5.21 billion cedis, the Treasury was able to raise a gross amount of 2.97 billion cedis across 91 to 364-day bills from investors, reflecting a significant drop of 35% compared to what was recorded for the previous month. Yields gained some momentum following the 250 basis point rate hike by the Monetary Policy Committee at the end of March 2022. Forcing the Treasury to increase its cost of borrowing to stimulate demand. The recent increase in capital reserve ratio to 12% from the previous 8%, according to DataBank, an asset management company, could make interbank liquidity fall by as much as 5 billion cedis, thereby decreasing banks' resources available to invest in government short-term bills. Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, said in the last MPC press briefing that the reserve requirement would mean that banks have to keep more Ghana cedis with the Central Bank. Referring to credit for the private sector, the governor noted that banks are not lending out the excess cash available on their books. On a year-to-date performance, the local currency was broadly stable in April, posting a 15.56% return compared to 15.55% in March 2020.
Meanwhile, a financial management consultant, Christian Chechi-Jan, has attributed the dwindling investor confidence to the changes in the economic fundamentals like inflation and interest rate hikes.
The government was able to raise 2.9 billion across the 91 to 364-day bill, which reflects a significant drop of about 35% as compared to the figure that was recorded for the previous months. There are a number of factors that will make such a phenomenon to occur, and this includes exchange rates that is low, and then inflation rates that will also be high, with the former now stable at an average of about 70 to 50 pesos to a dollar, but the latter, that is a inflation recording a worst rate of about 19.3% recorded for the month of March. Investors will obviously be losing value when they go in for these government bills upon maturity. So obviously, if you are an investor, you rather invest in stocks, which is likely to gain value in absolute figures than the liquidity.
That's all by way of business. My name is Winston Taki. Back to Annie for the rest of the bulletin. Annie?
Thank you, Winston, for the updates in the business, our first business story. Now, let's take a break. We'll go, when we're back, we'll come for the sports and the entertainment updates.
It's time for sports. My name is Phil John Quarty. The leadership of the Ghana Football Association has indicated that it will soon confirm Otuado as the coach of the senior national team, the Black Stars. The GFA General Secretary Prosper Addo confirmed this when he spoke to a cross-section of the media here in Accra.
It is no secret that every Ghanaian, and if I say every Ghanaian, I'm using that advisedly. I'm not saying that every single one of us, there's been a research and we've said that we want the collective unit of the coaching, the technical staff that qualified us to Qatar 2022 to lead the team. But once you find the number one person, and the majority of Ghanaians saying that we want to keep this unit together, the executive council and the ministry and everyone involved has worked to this point where we are very close to tying every knot, and then we'll announce to Ghanaians that the work on that quest is completed. But as I speak to you, everything is very positive, and so the coaches are doing what they need to do, and the FA is also doing what the FA needs to do.
Well, let's focus on tennis because the tennis championship to raise money for charity is underway at the Accra Lawn Tennis Club here in the nation's capital. The South African Eye Commission and some players spoke to Metro Sports.
An opportunity for nations to network, to find unity, to find the same purpose. And the Rainbow Tennis Tournament is such a vehicle for us to network, and not just from South Africans in Ghana, but for the entire communities, business communities, all the nations that are presented here in Ghana, for us to network, to play sports, to be healthy as well, and that's the whole idea behind this Rainbow Nations tournament, and it's a good initiative.
I'm excited. I mean, I see a lot of new people that I'll be able to network with after the game. So for me, I'm happy to be here.
I'm really expecting to have, fun first. This is very important for me. On top of playing tennis, having to have fun, but also to connect to new potential partner to play tennis.
Oh, it feels good. I'm happy to be a part of this tournament because it's a great chance to meet new people, and it's a sponsored tournament, so it's the proceeds will be going to a charity, so I feel good about it. I'm really happy to be a part of this.
I'm blessed. I'm glad to be part of this big competition, like from different country, and the networking really is nice and big chance to be here. I'm happy.
This has been Sports News on the Newsnight. My name is Phil John Quarty. It's still standing by for the latest in showbiz.
Thank you, Phil. It's time for entertainment news. My name is Esiodua Akumia. The Ghanaian rapper Manifest contributed a credit song for a cutting-edge black historical fantasy short film for River Tree starring Wendell Pierce and Olivia Washington. Now, the 18 minutes long film, which was filled with big Hollywood names, was premiered on May 10, 2013 at the Bentonville Film Festival. The festival helmed by Academy Award and Golden Globe actress Gina Davis. Now, Ghanaian musician Ms. V has announced plans of releasing a 13-track album soon to celebrate her 10 years in the local music industry. She stated that the release of the album will also be a way to celebrate her 30th birthday. Ms. V also revealed plans of organizing a musical concert. She stated during an interview that the album features 4 international artists and 2 local acts, but unfortunately refused to mention names. Now for our next story, legendary Ghanaian actor Majid Michel has advised the youth to learn to wait for success. He was speaking on the Entertainment Review show whilst Anthony Road shared his journey to fame.
I've been acting more than a decade now.
More than a decade?
Yeah, more than a decade. You're surprised, eh? I went for my first audition in 2009. Okay. And then from then I've been up and down, 2014. I met a director who gave me a role to play a lead role. Ajiti Annan was supporting, Kafri Damku was supporting, David Donto was supporting. The title of the movie is Announcement. Okay. So that actually gave me an exposure to producers and some directors in Ghana. So that's how the journey started, you know, from after my debut.
So that was like your breakthrough?
Yeah, 2014, 2015, 16, 17. 2017, 2018, I never got any call from any producer, director, nobody. Yeah, so that was the decider for me. Do you want to do this or you want to step down?
What was the other option for you?
Well, there was no other option. The other option was to either write a script or either get into stage theater, because I did theater before. Okay. Then I wrote a story, a short film that I produced myself. It's on YouTube, Bittersweet Wine. And that won me Best Short Film, Golden Movie Awards. Then from there, it was like a breakthrough for me. So I had calls from directors and producers in Ghana, and I've been on and on from 2018 till now, and it's been good so far.
What Anthony just said is very inspirational. Yeah. Everyone out there must really understand. You know, because they do 6 months, they get fed up.
Right.
Yeah. Oh no, 6 months. He really wants to be famous in 6 months.
Yeah.
And you already defeated the fact that you even went into it to be famous.
Yeah.
You know, Anthony's over 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time. Yeah. You know, and everyone's path is different. Yeah, you can make it in 1 year.
Yeah.
That's not a general rule. The general rule is. Do you believe, are you convinced that is what you want to do? Yeah. You see, if you're convinced, that's where conviction comes from.
Okay.
You have to be convinced that this is it. So after 10 years, now it's not working. It's like Jay-Z. The record labels left him.
Yeah.
I'll do it myself. He wrote his own script, did that because he knew that this is what I want to do.
Well, that's it for entertainment news. My name is Asiodua Akumia. Annie?
Thank you, Cedia. I mean, it just hits me that his voice is really, really gone. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for the updates. Now let's go into the international area and get the updates from there. Now, on the international front, 60 Zimbabweans have been killed by elephants so far this year as a conservation success story has led to increased conflict with the humans. And government spokesperson said Tuesday. Magwan said elephants killed 72 people in 2021, unlike in most parts of the world where poachers have killed of the animals for their trunks. Zimbabwe's elephants population is growing at about 5% a year. So elephants have been roaming outside of Zimbabwe, spoiling game reserves. But demographic growth as well as poverty are also forcing rural dwellers in Zimbabwe to move into areas that bring them into conflict with the elephants. Trade elephants is banned internationally, but the government has begun considering contraceptives or human licenses to manage the herd. And that's all by way of news tonight. We came to you live from the Akua Boahima studio at North Ridge. My name is Ania Fompo. For joining us again for more news updates. This has been Metro TV.